I'm a sustainable development entrepreneur. So what is this about? I was social entrepreneur, and before that I worked for IBM, and I was invited 34 years ago to be the head of an institute, research institute for society transformation. And since then I was dedicated for that. And besides of this institute, we started many ventures exactly to provide and support all these research and implementations. And so since then, I was heading this institute. I kept this position, and I started Bioma Ventures last year. That is exactly the synthesis of all of this 34 years process. So Bioma Ventures now is working on demand of the investments, and we are trying to build a bridge between the sustainable development universe with the investment universe. And since 2012, I integrated a group under UN, United Nations umbrella that is exactly dedicated to understand and to study how can we provide the financing for sustainable development. So based on this discussions, studies, we exactly make our proposal to have a more private perspective for all of these investments, because we are facing a very big challenge to finance sustainable development that is not enough public investments. So you need to bring the private investments to this world. So that is it's not main challenge, but is our foundation to propose Bioma Venture. So Bioma Venture is private one company, but it's promoting its first strategy and big venture, that is Impact Valley. So Impact Valley, it's a multi-stakeholder initiative. So we are bringing exactly cross-sector partners to understand all the needs and to provide more acceleration to transformations. And how does it work in practice? Because it's so theoretical, but we are bringing different ecosystems to be integrated. So from one side, we have the innovation ecosystem that's already there. All investments are going to there. And from another side, we have what we call the territorial ecosystem, is what we call the sustainable urban development, where is the place where the impacts, the transformation impacts happens. So how can you put both together? That is exactly what Impact Valley is bringing to provide the acceleration and the effectiveness of the investments that is orientated to achieve the sustainable development goals. So Impact Valley is ecosystems integrated place. It's like a marketplace, but it's exactly where you can find all the supports based on technology to bring all the efforts together and to get this acceleration. And how does it work? First of all, you can have Impact Valley as Silicon Valley or Crypto Valley in one place, but you can have where else you want to have it. So we are beginning this in Brazil, because I and my partners are from Brazil, but we are developing a technology that you can have it in Dubai, as example, or depends on you. the idea is exactly to have all of this support. And another ecosystem is integrated that we are proposing is the funding ecosystems. So how can you have all the mechanisms for funding integrated, since venture philanthropy through all kinds of investments till venture capital, private equity, and public investments as well. So we are proposing to have the blended financing with the proper mechanisms. So you who is developing the innovation can find all sorts of investments available for their necessities in the proper time, in the real time. It's more that. So we are discussing all of this with the United Nations because we want to pursue, to foster the Sustainable Development Goals and to show that it's completely able to make profitable investments and really provide impact in Sustainable Development Goals. Everybody is discussing this now. It's a new movement that we are trying to have. Till now, we already have the agreement between the governments and all enterprises, companies under their social corporate responsibility are working on that. But we are trying to have another step in this direction. And the step is exactly to have all the investors and all investments looking for it, but arriving in a very safe and easy place to do that. So that's the main idea. So the main idea is what we are calling Impact Valley. So that you can have all of this platform working besides the other initiatives for disruptive innovation. It's based on disruptive innovation. So in another hand, based on all of these funding processes. So basically, this is our effort now. What is very new is exactly what you're saying, a new layer. That's the territorial layer. That's the sustainable urban development layer. Because when you are talking about impact, the impact occurs exactly on the territories. And what we want is to provide the development. So in this layer, we are creating an analogy between the innovation ecosystem to territorial ecosystem. So we identify all the mechanisms and tools that you will need to have this ecosystem settled and provide them integrated with the innovation. How can you do that? It's not just bringing the urban planning to understand better the needs of development, but it's a more chaotic order, because you will leave the investors to choose where they want to invest. But you can connect these investments doing the management risks between them. So adding artificial intelligence for that. Basically, what is different is exactly this layer. So this is very new. This is why we are promoting this with United Nations. They will launch a platform exactly for this next year in Abu Dhabi, in the World Urban Forum. And Impact Valley will be the first place that will develop this. So we are very excited to see that in the practice. Impact Valley will be developing in Brazil, in the specific place in the south of Brazil that has all these conditions. They already have there one of the best innovation ecosystems in the world. They are, it's focused on technology, and we have all the territorial conditions to try this methodology and to try this experiment, this platform. And besides that, we will choose another 3 places around the world. We'll try to figure out, based on Expo 2020 in Dubai, it could be very interesting to have it here, because it's a way to leverage all the business opportunities that Expo 2020 brings. And we are choosing another 2 places. It's already been negotiated. So in 3 years, we are trying to have from Brazil about 1,000 startups exactly developed under this integrated ecosystem. And we are very excited in Brazil to have the 5G conditions now. So we are focusing exactly this with the smart and sustainable cities with this kind of solutions. So we are very well structured to provide this and to see exactly how investments can reach these opportunities and to accelerate their returns, profitably speaking, but mainly providing a real impact of transformation in terms of development in society.